Knockout Legends in the building. Like, comment, and subscribe. So today I'm going to talk about Teddy Atlas on the fight. Basically, I'm going to play a clip and then I'm going to voice my opinion on that clip. The clip basically addresses the Anthony Joshua fight. So, and also the upcoming fight with Deontay Wilder if it takes place. So with no further ado.
For the fight, that was, I can't believe I'm quoting this. This is a direct quote. But I heard some of the commentators actually say before the fight that it was brave of Joshua to take a last-minute replacement and not just pull out of the fight. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Do they really fully understand that Joshua was getting paid millions of dollars to fight and he would have not been paid if he didn't? I mean,
how you Teddy, you really think money had anything to do with this? Don't be so naive. Come on.
I mean it's not like, number one, like he was doing it for free, or he was getting, he wasn't getting paid and the money was going to a children's hospital. All right, brave. Number two, it wasn't brave of him. It's not like he was fighting Joe Louis, or for that matter, even Jerry Lewis.
Or Andy Ruiz.
Andy Ruiz, the second version of Ruiz, when he was almost 300 pounds and he beat him. But he was fighting a guy who 2 fights ago was knocked out in 1 round by Wilder. Wilder's people handpicked him to come back with, after a year's layoff, after being KO'd and badly beaten up by Tyson Fury. It's the same reason that you guys, the Joshua's people, okayed Helenius as a replacement for White. It's the same reason. Listen, I know you want him to be what you want him to be. Who has he ever beaten to have gained the stature that he's been given over there? Charles Martin? All right. And a 288-pound Ruiz in a rematch after Ruiz knocked him out when he took the fight on 2 weeks' notice or less. A cruiserweight beat him 2 times. I know Usyk, right? His only real win was over. Hey, you guys are forcing me to go down this litany of stuff. You're forcing me to do it. But I'll go down there quick. His only real win was over a 40-plus year old Klitschko who dropped him. And for that resume, he has the gall. And this didn't bother you a little bit? Really? Really, you guys? And, I have nothing but love for you. You're great fans. But for him to say on the telly, as you say over there, the telly, he said after the fight that his back was hurting him. Oh, and he went like this. Oh, Ken, my back is hurting me from carrying the heavyweight division. Are you kidding me? How you people sat there and allowed him to say that? Really? Joshua was tentative. It took him 7 rounds to finally get up the confidence to simply move forward with a couple jabs and throw the right hand and go home. I mean, he could have done that same thing at any time. He had a very tall guy who keeps his head up in the air like a lantern in a storm, it's like a target is on it. He pulls back straight, presenting this huge target to hit, like a bullseye on a dartboard. You Brits should understand something about dartboards, right? Darts is a big thing over there. And I know you got one over there in a couple of the pubs with my picture on it. All right, okay. All right, all love, just don't hit me in the eyes, please. Really, 7 rounds to simply do that against the guy they brought in. Let me reiterate that. They brought him in to be knocked out. Yeah, I know he set it up beautifully. Joshua set it up beautifully with 2 jabs low to his body, dropping Helenius eye contact, eye level, so that he'd never see the right hand coming up top. Okay, I'm telling you, okay, great. Great. Good job. Good job. But with this guy that he had in front of him, all you needed to do was press forward with 2 jabs and then the right hand and go take a shower. And like I said, have a pint, with some of your mates. Oh, boy. And he should have a pint with you. Because you guys
What are you
the
talking
reason
about?
why
He
is
did.
what
He
is.
came out and Conor McGregor gave him no choice but to dump a beer down his throat. It was one of the most awkward product placements in the history of marketing.
Well, you know what else he should do? I'm not trying to spend anyone's money, but he should also go into the local pub and buy everybody a pint. I think he can afford it. Ken, you think he can afford? You're a financial guy. I think he can afford it.
I'm pretty sure,
right?
yeah.
And you know what? Maybe it'll make his back feel better, right? Maybe it'll loosen up those. Look, you actually. I can't believe it. Is he serious with that?
I'm pretty sure he's dead serious. I'm sure he believes that.
That he carried the heavyweight division. You fought and you lost to Usyk because you had to. It's not like you chose him. He was a mandatory, I believe, and so you had to fight him. And then of course you lose, you have to fight the rematch. So how have you been carrying the division? Really, if we're gonna speak the truth here, right? It was Fury who actually got in the ring with the biggest puncher in the heavyweight division. And matter of fact, in boxing, period. Pound for pound, ounce for ounce, Wilder's the biggest puncher in boxing. And Fury got in the ring with him 3 times. So maybe he should be the one going to the chiropractor to get his back fixed for carrying the heavyweight division, right? Maybe he should be. Final analysis, Ken. Joshua was, for the first 4 rounds, he was so tentative. He was pushing his jab, reaching in with his right hand. As I said before, all he had to do was step in with 2 jabs and a right hand at any time, and Helenius was going down. So I know you don't want to be reckless. I know you want to be thoughtful. I know you want to be smart. I know you have a new trainer. I get it. But really, I also do get it. Everything is relative. And it's relative to who he was in there with. And with this guy, after round 2, you should have saw that. So, enough said. This yank is done. Okay? All right? And by the way, Joshua's going to be paid $60 million to fight Wilder if they do actually fight.
That's what I want to get your thoughts on why a potential Wilder-Joshua fight in December in Saudi Arabia. What happens and who wins?
Yeah, and if it or December or January, I think they're talking about January, whatever. But one thing I'll tell you, if the fight does happen, Joshua can buy a new back with $60 million. He can buy a new back, and all the millions that he's already made, in his career. God bless him. But listen, God bless Eddie Hearn.
So from that clip, what I can ascertain is seems to be a little bit of hate going on, and it's sort of a running theme with Teddy Atlas. I get the impression there's a bit of jealousy and a bit of disdain for British boxing fans and British fighters. Also, the fact that Joshua's made millions of pounds. He doesn't reckon Anthony Joshua's carried heavyweight boxing on his back. Also, he doesn't rate Anthony Joshua's resume, which is interesting. I remember him giving Anthony Joshua praise a while back, but it seems that because he didn't knock out Helenius sooner, and he's kind of voicing what the British boxing fans are saying, and he's sort of turned on Anthony Joshua, but he did say that Anthony Joshua was overrated. So, and in his words, he kind of, the way he put the words together, he said Anthony Joshua was a bum. I did a video on that, and I'm getting the impression he still thinks Anthony Joshua was a bum. So that's interesting though, that he thinks like that, because he rates Fury's 3 fights with Wilder. He doesn't rate any of Anthony Joshua's fights that Anthony Joshua's had. He doesn't think Anthony Joshua's resume is that good. He seems to think the 3 fights that Fury had with Wilder eclipse Joshua's resume. In his words, he fought a 40-year-old Klitschko, Charles Martin, which was an American champion, one of his fellow countrymen, but hey ho. Ruiz, he beat a 300-pound Ruiz, so he doesn't give him any credit for the Ruiz fight, even though it's Ruiz's fault for getting fat and eating all the food and going overweight. That's not Joshua's fault. He doesn't give him credit for fighting Usyk twice, because he said that he had to fight him because it was a mandatory. Well, not necessarily. He could have given up the belts, or he could have given up the one belt that of that organisation that were asking for him to fight for that belt, and then he could have probably went and fought whoever else he wanted to fight. Me personally, I think he should have done that, because in all honesty, Usyk had no right to actually challenge for them belts. What did he actually do to gain priority over all the other heavyweights that are in the heavyweight division that have fought to get to that position? To get that, yeah, he was undisputed in a lower weight category, but he knew he had to move up to make money, because he didn't make any money in that category. There was no one to fight. There was no big fights to fight in that category to make any money. So he had to move up. The obvious choice was to fight Anthony Joshua, because that's where the money was. It was a business move strategically anyway. So regardless of what people will say, it's about the money, and everyone's slating Joshua because, you know, he took the fight and he took it 5 days notice, and obviously it wasn't about the money, but it was about the money. So it's okay when Joshua does it for the money, but when other people do it for the money, there's no issue. I'm getting a bit of prejudice going on along the lines here with certain people, because certain fighters get a pass when they do certain things and other fighters don't, and I don't understand that. But like, you know, the guy is fighting more or less every single opponent that you put in front of him, and he's picking the best opponents that you can fight. He fought Parker, he fought Povetkin, he fought Martin, he fought Takam, he fought Pulev, he fought Usyk twice, he fought Klitschko. All the other fighters he fought, depending on whatever his resume is. So if his resume is trash and he's no good, then why do we want to see him fight Fury? Why do we want to see him fight Wilder? Why? Why have we been clamouring for these fights for so long? So bias is just one of those things, I suppose. I don't know. But like, even the way Teddy talks about the British fans and the British people, he just seems to think that everybody's from London and everyone's got a Cockney accent and everyone's a Cockney and a Londoner, and they talk with a southern accent, and you know, they go down to the pub and we have a beer and this and that and the other. You know, get it right, man. There's loads of different nationalities in the UK and loads of people with different accents. There's not just one set of people. Just because you can only think of one stereotype or one accent or one regional people that you can think of that you can imitate. You know, it's the same with America. You know, not everyone's going to talk the same or have the same culture or the same things that they're going to do. But anyway, back to the point of what I'm saying is there's a bit of ignorance going on and a bit of jealousy as well and a bit of bitterness. I just don't seem to see why the vitriol is so high and so venomous for Joshua. And now that he's voicing his opinion and saying what he wants to say, he's getting all this this backlash and hate. But when he was how he was before, he wasn't allowed to defend himself. He wasn't allowed to have an opinion. He wasn't allowed to say what he thought. He had to be quiet because, you know, that was part of his image. That was part of the PR. That was part of this. So it's interesting to see what people really, really, really think of you. And I think it's based off prejudice, plain and simple. I never thought I would actually say it, but I see it. You see it more and more in certain people when they say what they say and they have the opinions that they voice. So from Teddy Atlas, he reckons Joshua's a bum. He's overrated, and if Wilder has improved, more than likely Wilder will knock him out. Simple as that. So based off Atlas's logic, Wilder's going to knock out Joshua, even though Wilder can't box a lick. So, I don't know. Anyway, what are your opinions on what Teddy Atlas says? Do you agree? Leave your comments in the comment section. Like, comment, and subscribe. And that is another one from Knockout Legends. Peace.